Hey guys, and welcome back to my weekly reading vlog where every time I finish a book, I jump on the camera and give you my thoughts and feelings about it and then let you know what I'm going to be reading next. So, for those of you who missed the last reading vlog, for the month of July, I am going to try a lot of books from my TBR shelf. Basically, I'm going to take it down, pick one a day, read 50 pages and decide if I like it or not. If I do, great, it goes back on the shelf and I will finish it at some other point in time. And if not, then I DNF it and I show them to you on this reading vlog and then just let them go. But in case you're wondering, how did I get so many books on my TBR shelf that I'm not that excited about? Here's the thing. Over the years, there were a bunch of books where I looked at them and I said, you know, I don't know that I would like that, but it's interesting and I want to give it a try. And so I would get them. And then I never gave them a try. So like they've just been amassing on my shelves and now I've got like 30 of them. And so now I am dedicating the month of July to trying as many of them as I possibly can. So there's a reason. It's ridiculous. I'm trying to take care of it. But with that very long-winded explanation, let's just jump right in. And the first book is Death's Daughter by Amber Benson. This is the first book in the Calliope Reaper Jones series. This is an adult urban fantasy series where we are following Calliope, who is Death's daughter. Now, she has been living under a forgetting charm and trying to live as a normal human. Well, she is living as a normal human being because she's forgotten that she's not. And now the forgetting charm has gone away. She has to compete to be the CEO of hell, and it kind of goes from there. Now, I ended up DNFing this at page 5. So, like, the writing style just was not, it was grating after a couple of pages or a couple of paragraphs. There was like one or two things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way that happened. And then on page 5, there was the second fat phobic comment of the book. And I was just like, it's not for me. I'm done. This is just not for me. So I DNF'd it. The next book, one moment, because I did drop it, is How to Ride a Dragon Storm by Cressida Cowell, the 7th book in the How to Train Your Dragon series. Now, this is also something that I repeat every time that I mention the How to Train Your Dragon series. I am only reading these books because my older child has asked me to. I do not generally read elementary school books, and this kind of really solidified that for me. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't for me. So it was fine, it really was. I'm finding that the absurd situations, I'm just like, it's really great for elementary school kids, it's just not great for me. So like, I think that if you like elementary school books, it's probably good. I think elementary school age kids will really enjoy it, but it just wasn't for me. I finished it, and it was actually one of the better ones that I've read in this series. But yeah, it was just okay. So instead, next I am going to pick up Doubleblind by Ann Aguirre. This is the 3rd book in the Sarantha Jacks series. The Sarantha Jacks series is an adult science fiction series which follows our main character of Sarantha Jacks. And she is a jumper. Basically, she is the person navigating the starship as it warps from one place to another. And in this particular, last book, she was named a diplomat to an alien planet, and a lot is riding on this diplomatic mission. And now in this book, she has finally arrived and is going to try to convince this alien race of joining the conglomerate, which is basically all the different alien planets that work together, I guess. And so, yeah, I really enjoy this series. It's not literature, guys, but it's a lot of fun. I enjoy basically every minute that I have read of the first 2 books, so I am really looking forward to jumping back into this world with this book. But that is it, you guys. So until next time, bye. Hey guys, it is Tuesday afternoon and I have an update for you. So first off, let's talk about The Fairy Godmother by Mercedes Lackey. This is the first book in the 500 Kingdoms series. This book follows our main character of Elena, who is supposed to be her kingdom's Cinderella. Now, for some reason, that did not really work out. And so now she is being offered a job by the fairy godmother, and the entire book goes from there. Now, I don't know exactly what job she's being offered because I DNF'd it before I got to that point. So I hit page 50, I closed the book, and I kind of asked myself, do I want to keep reading this? And I'm like, well, it's not bad. But I kind of thought about it, and I was like, well, but there's also nothing drawing me to it. It's fine. It's a whole lot of fine. Like, the storyline is fine. The characters are fine. But there was nothing that I really liked about it. And there were a couple parts that I didn't like. And so it's just like, I just don't care. That's really what it is. It's not bad. I just, at this point, don't care. And part of that may be attributed to the fact that this is a young adult novel that seems to skew a little bit more on the young adult side, at least writing style wise. And that's just generally really hit or miss for me. So I ended up just DNFing it. Let's talk about the next book, and that is Deadly Curiosities by Gail Z. Martin. This is the first book in an adult urban fantasy series, and we are following our main character of Cassidy, who is the proprietor of an antiques shop, and she, well, it's an antiques shop, but it's also the family business is also to take in like malevolent supernatural objects and neutralize them so that get them away from make it so that they can't cause any harm, right? And the main storyline of this book is just that there is a haunted bed and breakfast and they got to go deal with it, which I didn't even really get into that storyline before I DNF'd it at page 50. And this one was another one where I was just like, it's just not quite good enough for me to continue reading. Like it wasn't bad. It just wasn't good either. So when I closed it at page 50, I was like, the plot is fine, but we haven't even gotten to the main plot of the book. The characters are fine, but I don't really particularly love any of them. The writing style was actually a little bit irritating. Like, I was surprised to find that this was like something like the 10th book that this author has published because I thought it was debut novel. It wasn't like horrific. It's just like she didn't know how to do certain things, and that bothered me. And just like the world building we didn't have enough time. We didn't really do any world building. It was just one of those things where it was like, again, it wasn't anything specifically bad other than a little bit of the writing, but none of it was good either. And so it's just like, I'm just not gonna I'm not interested in enough to keep reading. And so I DNF'd this at page 50. After that, I picked up Crash by Lisa McMann. This is the first book in the Visions series, and this book follows our main character of Jules, who is having these visions of a car crash, and like 9 people die. And as these visions become more frequent, she is realizing that this is in the future, and she could potentially prevent this from happening. And the story goes from there. Now, Jules is a character that I mostly like. There's a few irritating things, like she really obsesses a lot about the guy that she likes, which don't love. I really don't like how her dad's mental health is handled. He is very definitely a hoarder. He is very definitely depressed. And like, while I understand the family's frustration with it, and like when you're frustrated, especially when you're the daughter of somebody like this, it can be really difficult to deal with it, and you're not kind. But at the same time, it still really bothered me. So I didn't like that. I did love her older brother, Trey, and her relationship with Trey is actually very, very sweet, which is so nice. You don't get to often see sibling relationships that are sweet. And so I really did like that. But, it was the thing of, I closed it at page 50 and I was just like, I'm pretty sure I know where this book is going. And so when that happens, I will frequently read the last 20 to 50 pages of the book. And I did that here. And yes, it went exactly in the way that I thought it was going to, which means I really didn't care about it. But also there were a few revelations that I really actually didn't like. And so it's just like, I already knew where it was going to go. I don't actually need to read the book to feel like I know the story. So I DNF'd this at page 50. And then the last book to update you on is Doubleblind by Ann Aguirre. Now I am a whole 9 pages in. So I really have been pretty busy the last couple days and haven't wanted to read as much in my downtime. And when I did read, obviously I was focusing a lot on trying these books for my TBR, so I just didn't really read much from this. It's good. I'm 9 pages in. I don't have much more to say than that. So I am hoping that in the coming days that I will be able to focus on this one a little bit more and have an update for you. But that's it, you guys. So until next time, bye. Hey guys, it is Saturday night, so it is time for my end of the week update, and I have kind of a lot, so let's just jump right in. The very first one is Amber House by Kelly Moore, Tucker Reed, and Larkin Reed. That is a mother and her 2 daughters that wrote this book together, so that is awesome. But this book is about Sarah, who is now residing. She ends up living in Amber House for a while. This is her grandmother's old house because her grandmother died. And Sarah is seeing bits of the past, and it all kind of goes from there. I don't really know because I didn't get too far into this before I DNF'd it. I made it about 20 pages. And I don't know what exactly it was that really set me off, but I just did not enjoy reading this. I didn't really like our main character. I didn't like her family. And just something about the writing really just did not work for me, to the point that I did not even make it my customary 50 pages. I DNF'd it at page 20. So, did not work for me. After that, we have The Grendel Affair by Lisa Shearin, and this is the first book in the SPI Files novel. This is an adult urban fantasy where we are following our main character of McKenna, who is a seer. Basically, she can see, like, if you're a werewolf, she can look at you and see the aura around you that basically points to you being a werewolf. So she knows when people are hiding, kind of thing. Very rare ability, but she ends up moving to New York to be an investigative journalist, ends up working at a seedy tabloid, and from there SPI finds her, and she is now working for this paranormal investigation unit. And so and then the story opens up with this very brutal murder, and they're trying to figure out what exactly this monster is that did the murdering and what they want, of course. And I DNF'd this around page 50 because what I'm finding is with adult urban fantasy, I'm mostly burnt out on this. And so I just really have, my standards are a lot higher. So I want to really like it if I'm going to continue with it. And this honestly just, it really wasn't bad. There was nothing that was wrong with it. I just wasn't super into it because, like, I wanted it to be really good, not just okay or fine or good. And I read the first 50 pages. I kind of took a peek at the end to see where we were going, and I was like, yeah, of course we're going there. And that kind of sealed the deal. I'm just like, if I know where this, for urban fantasy especially, if I know where the story is going, I just don't care. So I DNF'd it. But honestly, it really isn't bad. It's interesting. So if you're into urban fantasy, The Grendel Affair by Lisa Shearin. After that, I picked up Hourglass by Myra McEntire. And this is about Emerson, and she is able to see not ghosts, but bits of the past. Essentially, the idea is that some people leave their imprint on the world, and so now some present day people can see them. It's not a ghost, it's just this imprint. But she started seeing these things about 4 years ago and thought she was going crazy, and now the company, Hourglass, is stepping in to say, actually, no, you're not. There's a bunch of you out there. That's about as far as I got because I DNF'd this at page 40. I did not like Emerson. And then he's looking like it's going to be a pretty strong romance. And then honestly, I didn't really appreciate how they were approaching the mental health issue part of this. Again, nothing really bad, just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And so I decided to go ahead and DNF it. And then a book I actually finished, Doubleblind by Ann Aguirre, the third book in the Samantha Jacks series. And I liked this book. I did not love this book. It is much more political in nature than the first two books were. The first two books were a lot of action and solving problems and getting it done. And like, this one was much more, we need to secure an alliance. And that's what Samantha Jacks is trying to do, and that's much more political maneuvering. After the halfway point, though, there was a lot more action, and it felt more like a Samantha Jacks novel. Either way, I did enjoy it. It just wasn't as good necessarily as the second one. And so, but I know that the next one is pretty action heavy, so I am looking forward to that. And then, because I finished that book, I am going to go ahead and pick up The Brightest Fell by Seanan McGuire, the 11th book in the October Days series. And this is an urban fantasy series, and we are following our main character of Toby Day, who is half human, half fae, and she's a knight in a fairy kingdom, and she solves really weird problems. And in this particular book, her mother, Amandine, has come to her and said, please go find this missing person for me. And Toby says, no. And then Amandine forces her hand in some pretty bad ways. And so Toby goes looking for this person. This is not my favorite novel because I do not like how Amandine is, and honestly because I know the consequences of what like the consequences that come about from what Amandine does. I don't necessarily like that, but I am still actually really excited to read this because one of the characters that plays a rather large role in this book, I think is actually going to be pretty important in the book that's coming out in September. So I'm really excited to read this book to prep for that one. Even as much as I don't love the consequences, right? I am still excited to kind of have a refresher for that particular character. And so that is it, you guys. I know there was a lot of DNFs this week. As I mentioned previously, that's probably just going to be how it is. However, no regrets, you guys. This is my TBR shelves, and this is the best they have been in, I don't even know how long, because I only have 51 books on my shelf, which is the best it's ever been. So I'm really excited about that. And even though I don't love DNFing a lot of books, I'm okay with it for right now because I am so much happier with my TBR shelves. So there you go. If you think that I should give a second chance to any of the books that I mentioned, let me know down below. But otherwise, that's all I got for you. So until next time, have happy reading, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.